All right, so as I mentioned, this is Megan Hoppus. We are in week 2 of Microsoft Office, chapter 3, which is Word. So this is, if you're in class here with me, welcome, welcome. We're on page 53, which is chapter 3. I'm going to go ahead and open it up so people at home can see it as well. Okay, so here we have. So the goals for today, we're learning about selecting text. Undo, redo, autocorrect, which I love undo and redo in my life, spelling, grammar check, moving, copying, text, finding, and replacing text. So that's going to be the first chapter, what we're going to start on. Okay. So the first thing we're going to work on is being able to select text. If there's some text you want to be able to change a word, change an entire sentence. There's ways to select it either through the navigation bar where you would type in the word, hit navigation and then hit credit card. Maybe you want to change it to CC or something else. So you can do a search for a word. Or if you just know where the word is, you could actually click in the area. There's 2 areas in the text, which I'll be showing you in just a minute. There's the selection bar, which is to the left of the document. You can click there to select an entire area, or you can click within the text. Okay, so the selection bar, as I'm mentioning, is to the left margin of the document. And when your mouse goes to it, it's kind of over, just a little bit from it. It looks, your arrow tilts a little bit. In the selection bar, then you can click to select an entire text. Now, why would you want to select entire text? Maybe you want to delete that paragraph. Maybe you want to change the color of that whole paragraph to red. And as you can see, your mini toolbar, we talked about that, your mini toolbar comes up and says, oh, do you want to change the font? Do you want to change the size? It gives you all options. If you don't want to use the mini toolbar and you want to use the font grouping, which is just above, that's fine too. Once you click into an area, you get the flashing I beam. So if I was going to type, you have this sentence here that says people watch what you eat and make judgments. If I wanted to type right where the word judgments is, if I double click, then I can type right in there and I get the flashing I beam, which is like the line. Now, this page is super important and I really like it. These are all the selection techniques. So if you want to select just one word, now, I'm going to teach you a couple different ways, but this is a great reference. So just one word, you could double click the word, click, and one word is highlighted, meaning you could change the color, or you could change the font, because you have to tell Word what you want to, if you want to select something, well, what do you want to change? If you want to do like a whole block of text, you can drag it over the desired text. Now, even if it's one word, you could drag it over the one word, okay, or double click. Either way, if you want to do an entire line, okay, you can press, you can drag it over it. You can take the selection bar and click, or do shift end and shift home. I don't usually remember that as well, but there's keyboard ways to do all these as well. If you want to do an entire sentence, hold down Control and click the mouse pointer on the sentence. If you want to do an entire paragraph, you would triple click on the paragraph. Okay, click, okay, or position the mouse pointer in the selection bar and double click. And remember, the selection bar is kind of over to the left. If you want to do multiple paragraphs, usually I just drag and highlight. I drag it over them. If you want to do an entire document, you can triple click the section or tap Control. I used to do Control A and it will do a whole page. It's really fast. So for the whole page, I've decided, oh, the font's too small. I don't like do paragraph at a time. I just do Control A, then the whole page is highlighted, and then I can change the font, the size, whatever I want. It does the entire text. All right. There's also non-adjacent areas. That's pretty uncommon, but it tells you to select the first block of text and tap Control and drag it over another block while you're holding Control. So if you had, like, you want to do the first paragraph and then you want to highlight the third paragraph, maybe you're making both of those red, you could, once you've highlighted the first one, you tap Control and then you do the third block and it'll do both of them at the same time. Non-adjacent means it's not like first, second, third, it's like first and third or second and fourth. They're not touching. So you'd have to use Control. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and open this document. So the first thing you're going to do, And if you have your computer, looks like everyone here, I want to say at home, but at home, I don't know what you're doing. Everyone here has their computers open. So you're going to go to the class site, and that is Padlet.com. So you're going to go to Google Chrome, Padlet.com/mhoppus/MS Office, and you're going to open up the class site. Once you have the class site opened up, we're going to get the textbook material that's in column 3. I'm going to wait just a second. I'm just looking to see donuts on everybody's screen. So the textbook material is called Dining for the Polished Professional or Professional Polish. And you click on it with 2 clicks and then either say download or open a new window. Either one will give you the same effect. It will go to the left of your screen. And then by clicking on the left of your screen, you can open it back up in Word. So again, that's in the 3rd column. Let me, the 3rd column, chapter 3 column, you double click on it to open it up. Then you either say open a new window or download. And then it will go to these computers here. It goes to the left of your screen. Now, if you're at home and you can't find it, you can click on File Explorer, which is the little file at the bottom here. And you could say downloads. And you can see I've downloaded it twice. And that's if you can't find it or you don't see that it opened, you can get to it by going to downloads by hitting File Explorer. So let me walk around, make sure everybody has it. Be right back. So once you have it, you're going to say enable editing so you can work it. Okay, let's see for a second. Here. But it's not in, it's in one guy. It's not in. Let's try to get it up. Not showing it like here, like it was only in the cloud. It was a different version. I don't know why. Oh, there we have it. Okay, that's great. All right, I can't always see everybody's computers from my desk. All right. Okay, so now we have this document. Let me go ahead and open the book back up. I'm going to put the book on the left and I'm going to put the document on the right so I can follow the instructions. Anytime you want to make something smaller, way up at the top, you have minimize. I'm going to take my minimized box here. You can go right up to the title, drag it to the side you want. You don't have to have the book on one side and the file on the other. I do this so that people at home can see where we are and exactly what we're doing. But it's a nice way to have 2 things open at the same time. All right, so we have it all open. It says, it tells you to go to chapter 3, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to because we have it on the class site. So you should be able to have this open just by going to the class site, clicking on it, download, and then enable editing. You won't be able to work on it unless you enable it. Okay, so now it says we're on step 5. Okay, so we have it open. It's right here. Place the mouse pointer in the selection bar at the left edge of the screen, just to the left of the first line of the first paragraph. Okay, now you're going to notice if you kind of just move your mouse around and start clicking, it'll start highlighting. By moving it to that selection bar. The selection bar is just kind of to the left. And so if you click twice, if you hit somewhere else, it goes off. But if you click twice, it'll do the whole paragraph. If you click once, it does that whole entire sentence just to the left. Okay. And so that's what we're working on, is just doing that first line. And you can see when you get to this, so if you want to say, well, wait a minute, where's the selection bar? Okay, so you have a regular arrow, and then when you move it over, it becomes a tilty arrow. That tilty arrow is when you're in the selection bar, and you can select part of the text. So if you were to click twice, it would do that whole paragraph. And that's the step number 7. So they want to see if you can do one click and do a sentence. You have to get to that tilty arrow. 3 clicks will do your whole entire document there. 2 clicks will do the paragraph. Was everybody able to find the selection bar and do that? Okay. Another thing that I really like to do is Control A, and that highlights the whole entire document. So that's a great shortcut that I would definitely memorize is Control A. Another way you can do it is if you just want like the title, you can at any point just drag. Like if I want eat before dinner, I can just drag it over the top. Or if I want the word tastes in this 3rd paragraph, I can just drag it. If I just want a couple paragraphs, I can just drag it over the top. Remember what they told you about control? If I want this 2nd paragraph, and then I want the 5th paragraph, if I hold control down, if I hold control down, it will keep both of them highlighted. If I don't, if I highlight one and then I highlight the other, the first one disappears. The control key will keep both of them highlighted. Now,
So I did that and now I'm trying to get out of it and it keeps highlighting.
oh my goodness, let's see.
Like I hit back and there's still some.
Just click somewhere else. Click somewhere else.
Okay.
So if you keep clicking in the selection bar, it'll keep highlighting because it thinks you're telling it to do something.
Okay.
So that's a good point. Yes, if you just keep clicking in the selection bar and keep clicking, it'll just keep doing things for you. But if you kind of just click somewhere in the document, it'll unselect. So the control key is a great key to use if you want to highlight one area, hit control, highlight another area. Now, why would I do that? I don't know. Maybe I want them to be in a different font. Maybe I wanted those to be underlined. So if you're trying to make several changes at once, maybe I wanted all these top lines, eat before dinner, consider various tastes. If I hold control, I can highlight each and every one. Excuse me. So if I was doing that, and then in that case, then I could say, oh, I want all of you to be red all at the same time. I'm going to undo. But you can see how easy, once I've highlighted them all, oh, I missed one on the bottom. Then I can easily change them all at the same time. Now, if you're like, that's too hard, you don't have to. You could do one, and then you could do the next one. Whoops, eat before dinner. Whatever. So you can do one at a time. So whatever works for you. Okay, so let's go to the book. Okay, so it tells us if we want to select a single word, we could double click. So it says go to the word most and double click it, and you can see it'll select just the word most as the first word in the first paragraph, just by double clicking it. And then if you want to unselect it, just click anywhere else on the paper except the selection bar with your tilty arrow. It'll highlight something else. Okay. It says position the mouse pointer somewhere in the first sentence. So just somewhere in the first sentence, hold control and then click, and it will do a whole sentence. So again, you just tell it where you want to be. I can go to the 2nd paragraph that says you don't want people to perceive that you're more interested in food than business. Hold the control and click, and it does that whole sentence. And you'll notice sometimes when you do it, like if you highlight area, the mini toolbar comes up. You could use it or not, but it often comes up just to help you out. Okay. They give you a few keyboard ones. If you want to get to the top of the page, like if you're ever wanting to get to the top of your document, Control Home will get you to the top. Control End, get you to the bottom. Control Home, get you to the top. Control End, get you to the bottom. It also says you can select text with your keyboard. It says position the insertion point. So that means your flashing line at the beginning of the first line. Okay, so I'm going to put it on the word M, the M for most of the paragraph. Select Shift and then click at the end of the paragraph. So that would be mind with the period. and you can see it highlights the whole thing that way. So again, you have to be on the M, you hold shift and then click where the period is, and that will highlight an entire paragraph. Okay. And then you could unselect by either releasing the shift or clicking somewhere else. Okay. It says position the insertion point at the beginning of the paragraph again. I'm on step 18. And it says press Control Shift and then tap the arrow. Now, this would take you a really long time if you wanted more than one word. I don't usually use the keyboard because I find they take a lot longer, but you can see you can do a sentence or two by holding Control Shift and then hitting your arrow, or you could hit the arrow the other way and unselect it. So again, to do that, you go to where you want to start, you hit Control Shift and then arrow. I don't use those ways as much, but the good thing about Microsoft is there's lots of different ways to highlight and edit. The most common way I use is I just drag it where I want. But again, you could double highlight to do a word. You can go to your selection bar and do a sentence, double click a paragraph, triple click the entire document, or Control A. And all of those are, if we just go back a couple pages, are just on this wonderful page here. I think this is a great reference. Okay. Moving on. Did everybody get most of those? And don't worry, you don't have to know all of them. You just need to know one of them that'll work for you. For the most of my few years of Word, I just would drag. So that way works great. Okay, so you can use delete or backspace to take one character at a time. If the area though is highlighted and you hit delete, it will do that whole entire paragraph. Let me undo. So, you know, you could just backspace, that'll take away just one or two characters, but if you highlight an area, it deletes that whole entire text. Okay, now we're going to work on adding, deleting, and replacing text. So if you want to add text, you just have to go to where you want to add it, the insertion point. So if I wanted to add a sentence before most, I would make my flashing cursor there and say, you know, today we are, so wherever I wanted to insert it, I would just go and start typing at that point. If I want to delete text, the same thing is true. Say I don't like, you know, the word opportunity, I want to put another word in there. I would go to where I want to delete and backspace, or highlight the whole word. If I didn't want to, you know, backspace 10 times, I could double click on the word and hit backspace once and it's gone. The whole word is gone just like that. My favorite key is undo. I use that a lot. So now if you want to replace text, that's another thing you can do where you would say replace. We're going to type the text to be replaced and put new text in it. And we'll work on that in our assignment in just a second. There's also auto correction. So if you're typing, you know, and it doesn't have a space, like in this example, it says about the, or I'll notice sometimes I'll put TEH because I get my I type too fast, and it will auto correct for me, which is nice. It will find what I'm doing and correct that. All right, so now we're going to do some other, the next assignment starting on page 59. It's using autocorrect and edit text. And if you're really good with Word, a lot of these assignments may be super easy for you. But that's okay. You can say, yay, I know how to do this. So the first thing it says is scroll down to page 2 and position the insertion point at the end of the last bulleted item. Okay, so we're going to scroll down to page 2. Now you could either, with yours, you can either scroll, you have a touch screen, so you can move it that way, or you can use your arrows. I find that, or you could do control end, excuse me, and get to the second page, whatever works for you. I'm going to give you as many ways as I remember, and you can figure out which works for you. So it says scroll down to page 2, position the insertion point at the end of the last bulleted item. So that would be right after the word STEM. Tap enter to get a new bullet. Type turn off and tap the space bar. So we're going to type turn off, TURN, and we're going to put an extra F. Now you're going to notice one of your F's disappeared. Did you notice that? Let me show you in mine. So if I write the word turn off and add an extra F and then hit my space, oh, well, it didn't do it that time. The first time it did, let me type it because now it thinks I want it. Yeah, so the first time it did it, the second time it's like, oh, now she wants that. When I did it the first time and I added an extra F, it auto corrected for me. It corrects the word. Now it says type, okay, type, okay, space bar. Then type TEH, and hit the space bar and it will change it to the. And now we're going to finish. There's a paragraph right here. I'll make it a little bigger, but it's also on page 60. What you're going to type, this whole bullet will be turn off the cell phone. You insult your guests when you indicate that your phone call is more important than they are. Now, this is not a typing test. If you don't want to type that whole paragraph, I don't care. I just want you to learn the techniques we're doing. But I will type it for those at home so they can see me typing. And if you spell anything wrong, I'm going to put an extra letter there. You'll get a red line under it. I'll show you how to fix that in just a minute. So if you have any errors, it'll get a red line under it. I added an O in indicate. You could right click to get a menu. And then it says, oh, do you want indicate, indicated, indicates? I want indicate. And I just left click on it and it will correct any that it finds. If it's a name, like for example, my last name is Hoppus. It always thinks my last name is wrong because they think it's Hops or something else. So it redlines me. That's okay. All right. Was everybody able to type all that? Okay. All right. So next it says, we did that. We added another, but you can see how easy it is to add another bullet point. If you want another bullet point, you would press enter. If you do enter twice, it turns off your bullets. Interesting, huh? Okay. So now we're going to do control home and it's going to pop us to the top of our article. So you should be at dining, control home. Pops you right back to the top, or you could scroll back to the top, either way, but control home gets you there right away. So now we're going to go, it says position the insertion point at the beginning of the second sentence in the first paragraph, which is most sales. So we're going to, oh, excuse me, time, right after time. So it's going to be right in front of the P for people. So right after most sales representatives find themselves dining with clients from time to time. So then you're going to click right in front of the P and you'll notice now your insertion point is there. So now we're going to add this sentence here on page 60 that says sharing a meal provides a more relaxed environment than the typical conference room. So you're just going to, since your insertion point is there, you're going to type that sentence. Okay, I'm going to walk around for just a minute. Okay, are you guys ready? Okay, so we were just able to add. Now they want you to notice that the paragraph just changes to fit that in. It doesn't get all out of shape. It just moves right along. So that's called word wrap, and it keeps it all in line. All right, so next it says follow the next steps to delete text in the first paragraph. Okay, so they want us to position the I-beam to the left of an opportunity. And that is in the, it looks like the third sentence, the dining environment gives your client an opportunity. Okay, so they're going to have you drag it over that whole word. Looks like right after client. So you can either drag it, you can double click. I think it's easier just to drag it because you want two words there, an opportunity. And then they just want you to hit either backspace or delete. And then it will just go away. Now, if I undo, the other option is I could have gone to the Y and then backspace, 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 backspace. You can see it takes a while. So I think it's a little easier to highlight an opportunity and then hit delete or backspace. So now it should say a client to. Okay, now if you got rid of the space, so your words are together, you just need to make sure you add a space. Sometimes people hit the space. So now they want you to type in the word where you are, a client. They want you to type the word a chance, the words a chance instead of an opportunity. So it should say the dining environment gives your client a chance to get to know you better, instead of an opportunity. And then make sure you have enough space and it works out there. Okay, so next it says, position your mouse pointer over the word perceive, the first line of the second paragraph. So it's about a third of the way in, and you're going to double click so it highlights the word perceive. And it's already highlighted. So all you need to do is type think, and it will go away and type the new word at the same time. That's pretty slick, huh? Sometimes people will highlight or do backspace, and then they'll type the new word. If it's highlighted, all you gotta do is start typing. It makes it much simpler. All right, so then another favorite thing of mine is spell check and grammar check. And this is really helpful if you want it to check your entire document for any errors or anything like that. Remember, we put it, it's in the very top, the quick access toolbar, which is up at the top here. You could check your spelling that way by clicking on the thing that says ABC, or you can go to, when you go review, there's ABC, spelling and grammar. Okay, so we're gonna check our whole paper in just a minute. But spelling is nice. Now, remember though, it's not perfect. It always thinks my name is spelled wrong because it doesn't know that my name is a name. So it's not going to be perfect, but it will help us. So it tells us to go Control End to get to the end of our document. Okay, it says make sure that an insertion point is at the end of the last bullet point and then tap enter to generate a bullet. Okay, so if you don't have a bullet there, you're going to go to the word are, important than they are, and hit enter so you get one more bullet. Okay, then they want us to type this sentence. This is on page, sorry, let me, 63. Step 3 tells us to type this sentence. Don't dunk your bread in your soup and don't crush saltines inside the bag and dump them in your soup. Okay. It says take care to purposely misspell your and saltines. So we're gonna check our spell check in just a minute. So you're gonna type that sentence. I don't know if I could type you're wrong. That's kind of hard to type it wrong. Saltines. So you'll notice as you're typing away, if you spelled your wrong and saltines wrong, that they are red. So there's a couple of things you can do. You can right click and see the choices. Or we can actually do the ABC and figure that out. At the moment, it tells us to just place it over the top, right click, and then left click your. Same thing with saltines, right click and left click at the one that you want, and it will quickly fix your errors. Now, if I didn't do it that way, I could highlight the sentence and hit ABC, and it will do a spell check for me. If you can see my computer here, it came up with a little thing on the side that says, oh, did you want Y-O-U-R? Your as in like days of yore. And so I can click on your and say change. And then the same thing with saltines comes up and I could say change. And then it says, we've checked that sentence you highlighted. Do you want the rest of your document? And I could say no. But this is nice. If you just want one sentence checked or one word, you can, like if I went back and I took your out, so it's wrong again, I could highlight just that word and then hit review tab, spelling grammar, and it would just do that one word. So that's another way to do it. But again, usually I don't go through all that formality. If the word is in red, I just right click your and left click the correct word. Okay, did everybody get that? Okay. All right, so now it says go Control Home to get to the top of our document. Whoops, I'm at the top of my lesson. Control Home. Let me make mine a little smaller. La, 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 la. Sometimes I forget that I have two screens going, and if I hit Control Home, it brings my lesson plan to the beginning. I mean, the chapter to the beginning. I was like, what? So that's what it just did for me because I wasn't paying attention. I kind of was, not enough. All right, so Control Home if you're on your document to get to the top of your document. Double click the word representatives in the first paragraph to select it. So we'll highlight that one. Type people to replace the selected words. So now you have the word people, but you're like, you know what? I don't know if I like that word. You could always, once you have people there, you can always do undo, and then you have the word representatives back. So keep that in mind. Nothing is in stone until you've saved it. You can always, highlight something, backspace. Oh, you know what? I did need that word, and then undo key. Undo key. Just those little arrows are like the best thing ever. All right. The next thing we're going to do is moving and copying text. This is really important. If you're looking at this letter and you're like, oh, you know what? That second paragraph should be the third. You do it through cut, copy, and paste. And these are in your home tab. The grouping is called clipboard. You see a little scissors, little 2 pages, which mean copy, and paste is where you're going to put it. So you have some choices. If you cut something, then it actually takes it and moves it somewhere else. If you just copy, you're leaving the original. So it depends on what you're going to do. There are some shortcuts that are here, and I'll do those when I'm doing the assignment. I often do that. So they want you to go to this paragraph, which is the third paragraph that says, consider various tastes. So you're going to need to highlight it. So you can either double click, but you want the whole thing. You want the consider. So I may drag it so I can make sure I can get that whole thing. So consider various tastes all the way to what people will eat. And you're going to go to the little scissors up there. The other thing you can do is right click on your mouse and you get a little menu. So you can either right click on your mouse and say cut, or you can go up to the scissors. Okay, now you have to go before where you want to put it. So they want it eat before, they want it to the left, position the insertion point to the left of eat before dinner. So right before the E there, and then you're going to go to that little paste clipboard, or you can right click on your mouse and say paste, either way. And then you see that that paragraph just pops right in. Okay, let me do that again. So I highlighted considered various tastes. I went to little scissors. I did cut. I went to eat before dinner. And I did paste, and it pops right in there. Did that work for everybody? No? Okay, I'm gonna walk around. Yeah, you're not hitting the right paste. So there's 3 or 4 pastes. If you just hit the generic one, it'll just do it the same way. Also. Yeah, so each one says keep the formatting it was, one says change it to the formatting. So there are 3 different things. So sometimes if I'm not sure what I want, I'll go through all 3 until you click on it and it'll just show you what it looks like. Good news is just a little bit of space. I'll right click looks good, but I would just do the first one. That'll work. Magic. I'm just taking everything slow. And again, for some of you, this may be like, yeah, this is way easy, and that's okay. But these are just really good skills to know for Microsoft Word. Sometimes when we're running low on time, I skip this chapter and say, do it at home, because I still think it's super important, but these are things you could practice at home a lot. Okay, all right, so we copied that, put it back. It says, position the mouse pointer to the selection bar and to the left of choose a family restaurant. So that's the 4th one, 1, 2, 3, 4th paragraph. Click the mouse button and drag it through the last line. So they want you to grab this whole entire paragraph where it says discussions. Okay. Do Control X and you'll see it disappears. That's cut. Okay. And then go to eat before dinner, put your cursor there and do Control V. And it should reappear. Did that work? I use Control C and Control V all the time. Copy, paste, copy, paste. You don't ever have to use the keys like that, Control X, Control V, Control C, but they're just really nice to be able to use really quick. All right, so it says, tap enter 3 times to set off an area that you will copy information to. Let's see, oh wait, scroll to the end of page 2 and place the insertion point at the last bullet point. Okay, so we're at soup. So go to the very end of the page and go to soup. And then press enter 3 times. 1, 2, 3. That will turn off your bullet points and that will make an insertion point so you're ready. Okay. It says click and drag the selection bar to select the first bullet point. Okay, so we're going to go to the selection bar, and if you click in it twice, you'll get the first bullet point will be highlighted. Or if you don't want to do it that way, you can highlight the first bullet point, whatever works. Then you can either do copy, which is those 2 pieces of paper, or Control C, or right click on your mouse, copy. They all do the same thing. Okay. Now they want you to go to the bottom of that page where you were, those 3 enters. You don't have to do them again, but if you just go down there and click it, and then paste, or right click the first one, paste, or Control V. And then you have that bullet point a little bit lower down. It's in 2 places. So the copy will keep it in the first place and the second one. Okay. It says, position the mouse point to the section bar to the left of the second bullet point and click the line. So now we want the second bullet point. So you can either go to the selection bar or you can highlight the second bullet point. Press Control C to copy. Make the insertion point go to, it says the bottom of the page, wherever you were. Control V will paste. If you get an extra bullet point, just press backspace, and then they have you move to the top of the document. So we just, anytime you highlight, Control C copies, Control V paste. You don't ever have to use keys if you don't want to. It's just another way to do it. There's 3 ways to do that. So did that work for everybody doing either the scissors or the paste or anything? Okay, and then they have you say Control Home and it brings you to the top of your document. All right, now we're going to work on finding and replacing text. This is handy if you've typed something wrong. You can find it with the search, the navigation pane, and it'll find a word. The example it gives is credit card. It'll highlight those on your document, and then you can replace them if needed. So an example they give you here is they have the word client, and then they've decided it should be customer. So you don't want to go through your entire document and have to find each word. You're going to have it do it for you. And then you'll just say replace. Okay. So this is pretty easy. You can either just find text by choosing editing, find. So the home tab, editing group, find is the command, or you can replace text by going the home command, editing, replace, and then putting in the box what you need. Okay, so that's what we're going to do next. So it says, make sure your insertion point is at the top of their document. Go to home tab, editing, and find. So we're at home tab now. Editing is on the far right, and find is the little magnifying glass. When you click on it, you'll notice a little box that says navigation, and you're going to type in the word credit card. And you're going to hit, well, don't have to hit anything. Look, it just came up. I was thinking you need to enter. So now it shows me credit card on my document is in 2 places. Okay. So now I know I found that. Okay. So now I'm going to click close. And that's just a little X in navigation. And you can see you're back to your document. Okay. So now in this case, we're going to do home tab, editing, and replace. So that's the next word down. And you get a box that comes up right in the middle. Okay. Now in this case, it came up and said credit card because that was the last word I typed. So I'm going to say client. And then I'm going to replace it with, you have to have a replacement, customer. So once I've done that, I'm going to click find next instead of replace. So it's just showing me where the words are. Like I can just look and see, oh, okay, they're all through my document. Find next is just showing you all the word times it says client. And it'll come up and say, we're done. Okay, so find, it's just telling you, oh, I found them all for you. They're here, here, here. And you see that they highlight each one as you go through it. And it'll keep going till it's all done with your document. Now, what we want to do now, though, is we don't just want to find it, we want to replace. So you're going to click replace. And it should, oh, replace all. It should replace all. And a little box came up for me and said, all done, we've made 5. If you just click replace, it'll do just 1. If you do replace all, then it'll come up and say, we did, mine said 5. And then you say close. Did that work for you? I hear you. I hear you. Okay, so now we can take a breath because that was all of chapter 3. Not too bad, huh? Yes, question.
If we X out of the navigation hub, the way to find it is to go to the find replace.
Yeah. So if you like you were looking for a client and then a minute later, you're like, oh, I need to find that word again. Home, editing, either find, if you just want to find it, or replace, depending on what you want to do. And it's really handy. Like say you spelled your boss's name all throughout a document and you want to get it changed quickly. You could try to find everyone, or you just put find and replace. And then you could correct all the spelling errors. If it's something that wasn't caught by ABC, because obviously your boss's last name would probably not be caught by spell check. And then you'd be like in trouble with your boss. We don't want that. All right. So next we're going to move on to the next chapter. And this one is actually really fun. It's making flyers with Microsoft Word. So this is my favorite chapter. All right. So in this chapter, we're going to learn to format using the ribbon and the mini toolbar, using live preview and galleries, changing paragraph alignment, using word art and clip art, and creating new folders for organizing documents. Now, before we close out this other one, I'm going to show you how to save. So do you guys remember? So we have this document here, okay? Now, I'm going to do it two ways. I'm going to store it on the computer. Whoops, it says my screen sharing is paused. Hold on just a minute. Okay, there we are. Okay, so this is our document. If I was going to save it on the computer, I would do File, Save As, Browse. Remember the two questions? What do you want to call it? And where do you want to put it? Well, right now it's called Polished Professional. I'm going to call it Edit Doc, because this is the document that I was playing with. Now it shows me I'm in Downloads. I really don't want it there. I want it in Documents. And then I'm going to find the folder I want it in. All these yellow things are folders. And I think last week I made a folder called MS Office Saturday. I could also at this point make a new folder if I needed to. So I'm going to open MS Office Saturday by clicking on it twice. And those were the items we made last week. So where do I want to put it? Well, my pathway is up at the top. I'm at this PC, Documents, MS Office Saturday. That's the final folder I'm at. This is the pathway of how to get there. And I would say save. Okay. Now, if I was doing it on a thumb drive, it's very, very similar. I would say File, Save As, Browse. That's going to be the same. Then I would go to the bottom of my list here and my thumb drive would be showing and I would click on it. Again, where do you want to put it? What do you want to call it? Those are the two steps. File, Save As, Browse. Where do you want? So you just scroll through this list. Documents is the default of where all your folders are, or they should be. You can also, you can find things in Downloads, but I don't usually save things in Downloads because that's where things are coming down to your computer. Documents is usually the place where I keep things on my computer, or I would have my thumb drive down here. If it's a picture, there's a folder for pictures, there's a folder for videos. But Documents is where all your information would go there. But if I had a thumb drive, like I say, I would scroll down this list. Usually it's on the bottom and it would say E for this computer. I don't have one plugged in currently, but it would say E. I would click on it and then I'd either click on the folder on my thumb drive or just place it in my thumb drive. Okay. All right. So I'm going to cancel because I already saved it. But that's how you would do it either for, and then once you've saved it, you can go ahead and close that specific document. Uh-oh, screen sharing has stopped. Okay.
So I saved it.
Yep.
I went back to the documents to open it. And then it says, when I go to open it, it says, no items not your search.
Oh, let's go find out. So where did you say that it's my, where are you trying to open it from?
Documents, docs.
And open that. Okay, look, it was saved there. Let's cancel. You saved it in Documents. Oh no, it's in Documents. So let's see. It's showing me it's here, but it's not showing me that you saved it. But, oh, there it is. So there it is. Okay. So let's do File, Save As, Browse. So right now it's in Downloads. That's going to say Documents and Docs. Again, you have to click on it again. You have to open a folder. It'll say Open. Okay. And that's it. Now you'll be able to play.
Thank you.
File, save as, browse. I know, you mentioned it's so good you could say that in your sleep. All right. Okay, so next we're going to go to the next chapter. Oh, that's not what I want. That's my presentation that I just made in another class. Okay, so now we're on chapter 4. Okay, so we're going to make this cute flyer. It's actually going to be in color. And I think making a flyer is a super good skill because it's like making a poster or anything like that. It teaches you a lot of really good skills. So when you're going to format using the ribbon on the top, you could format the type of font you have, the style, the size, the color. These are all things you can do. The font can be there's lots of different things. Right here you have Calibri, Comic Sans, Old English. So you can have the writing be lots of different ways, and that's great. The font group has all these things that you can do. It could be the font type, the size, the style. It could be bolded, italicized, underlined, and these are all things you can do. And then the font color is really important. Font sizes are measured in points, 72 points to an inch. So most of the time when you're typing, you do 10, 11, or 12. That's just a regular typing size. But in this case, we're going to make it a little bit bigger. We're also going to use the mini toolbar where we highlight something and go from there and change it a little bit. We're going to learn that skill. And we're going to use live galleries. So what live galleries means is if you highlight something and then you start working through the list, you don't even have to click, it will show you what it would look like. So this is kind of nice. So the first thing it says, so we're just going to start with a blank document. So if you closed your Word out completely, no big deal. You're going to click on Word and you're going to click on blank document. If your Word's still open, then you can say File, New, or you can say Control N, and that will give you a new blank piece of paper. Control N's my favorite, but I always forget about it. Okay. So the first thing it says is do your show hide button so you can see how many spaces you have. And it says hit the enter key 4 times. Okay. Now choose home, paragraph, bullets. So home is the main one, paragraph is the grouping. So home is the tab, paragraph is grouping, and then bullets. And you have choice of what kind of bullets you want to use. I'm just going to use a round one, but you don't have to do that, whatever you choose. And we're going to type up this list here. Separate your trash, always look for recycle bins, on and on. Whoops, I have to get to my right page. So once you're there, you're going to type that list. And you don't have to type every word. This is not a typing class. And then just hit enter and keep going to the next bullet. Just waiting for everyone to finish typing. So I'm going to turn off my show hide because I really hate keeping it on there. To me, it looks kind of like there's too much for me to see. So when you get done at use washable napkins, it asks you to hit enter 3 times. So you'll get a bullet, hit it again, and that way you'll have some blank lines under there. The reason is if you're going to put things and have a poster and move things around, you need some blank spaces to be able to do that. Okay, so now they want us, we've already done this, they want us to be able to select these lines that we've already done. So you can hit Control A, that'll do it. It highlights a little bit more, or you can just swipe it and it will highlight those. Now they want us to use a live preview. What that means is you're going to click on the font and go through it, and it will show you the words behind. Let me see if I can make mine bigger, if that'll help a little bit. So I highlight the words and I go to the different fonts. And you see how as I go down the font, it shows me what it looks like? That's called live preview. Now I haven't clicked. If I go off of it, it goes back to my regular font. It's just previewing what that one would look like. So this is kind of nice if I'm trying to decide what font I like, and it will live preview it for me. It doesn't work as well when my page is minimized because it's right on top of the words and you can't really see what I'm trying to show you. So in the end, they want you to click Comic Sans, and you'll see there's so many different fonts. There's even ones that aren't really words. I like Castellular, but they want you to pick Comic Sans. Let's see, can I find it? Oh, there it is. If you don't like Comic Sans, you don't have to pick it. But once you actually click on it, you'll notice it changes the font to that one. Now you can always undo at any point in time. Now with the line still selected, if they got unselected like mine did because I hit my other screen, they want you to change the font size to 14. So it makes it a little bit bigger. Okay. All right, so now they're going to have us use italic and underline. So it says, with the line still selected, which mine aren't again, so I'm going to highlight it. It's really good practice for me highlighting. They want you to click the little I for italicize. And you'll notice if you click it once, it kind of tilts them. Click it a second time, it goes back. So I'll do it once. And then the underline, we'll put lines under it. If you click the I again, so now they're grayed out, it will go away. And if you click the U again, that will go away. So they just want you to see that you can italicize and underline at any time. And then they say, click anywhere to deselect your highlight, which I just keep doing. So now select the lines again. It's like the third time I've done it. And you'll notice the mini toolbar comes up and they want you to select bold, the B. If your mini toolbar goes away, you could always select it from the font area. Okay. Now we're going to make these words green. Okay. So we have to highlight them again. Yay. And there's a little A that has a color underneath it. If you click the triangle next to the letter A, you have font color. And you're going to pick, they want you to pick green accent 6, darker 50. If you're like, what does that mean? That's the shade. So if I put my cursor on it, you can see like this one says green accent 6, lighter 40. The next one, and I'm not clicking, says green accent 6, darker 25. I think it's the bottom green in the very corner. Green accent 6, darker 50. Now it doesn't change. I have this preview gallery until I actually click on it. And then it will change the whole font to that green. Did that work for everybody? Mm-hmm. Now, if your mini toolbar comes up but you don't see it, you could always do this right from the font as well. So you don't have to use your mini toolbar. All right. It tells you here just as a little aside that if you're saving documents, which we've done, file, save as, browse, remember, 2 questions, where do you want to put it? What do you want to call it? Your folder length can be up to 255 characters, which I think this is just dumb. Who would want a folder that's 255 characters? Anyways, it can be. And the name of your folder, though, the folder can contain space, period, comma, semicolon, dashes, apostrophes and parentheses, but it can't contain backslashes, question marks, greater or less than. So if you go to type a folder and you do flyers dash may, and it'll come up and say you're not allowed incorrect folder name or something. So just keep in mind, there are some rules for naming folders. There are also rules for documents. But usually if you do one wrong and you add a character you're not supposed to, it'll just tell you. So it's not like going to kill you. All right. Another thing you can do when you have a paragraph is you can align the paragraph to the left, to the right, or in the center. This is more important when you're doing like a flyer, because like this bullet point, you wouldn't really want it right there. So we're going to be working on some aligning. Okay. All right. So it says anywhere, align it, put your insertion point anywhere in the first line of the text. So I'm going to put it right in front of my S. Then you're going to go to the home tab, the paragraph group, and you see there's some little lines. We're going to go to the second one, which is, I'm just putting my cursor on it. The second one is center. Okay. And then I can do right, or I can do left. So you can see how you could move one or more of your text to a certain button. It lines it between the margins. If I want to do the whole thing, I could highlight the whole thing and say center, left. Right now, I'm just going to leave it in left because our bullet points wouldn't be even. We're going to fix that later. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're working on this flyer. We're going to create some word art. Okay, reduce, reuse, recycle. All right, so it says hit Control Home to get to the very top of your page. So that's where we're going to put this word art, Control Home. Now we're going to say insert. That's right next to home. And one of your choices, you want word art. And if you can't see the word word art, it's a little A that's sideways. And that is word art. It is in the grouping called text. They want me to pick the A that is in the second row and is on the very far right that's gray. Doesn't really matter. We're going to change it in a minute. Then you'll notice you're going to get a box. Did everyone get a box? Now you're going to type in that box, reduce, comma, reuse, comma, recycle. Since it's highlighted, it will just do your words. At this point, it's really boring, but we're going to make it exciting. So there's some things we can do with word art. You can make it much more exciting. So right now we just have some words, right? But we can have it look beveled, 3D, transform it. And we're going to look at some of these things. When we click on the word art, you get a tab. Remember, we talked about contextual tabs. Well, word art has its own tab and we can format, and there's so many fun things we can do once we do it. We can also rotate our word art. You'll notice there's a little circle there that you can like play with it. We're not going to move it too much out of place. I want it at the top, but if you did want it a different direction or something, you can actually rotate it. You can also go to the side if you wanted it bigger and draw it bigger or smaller, just the box itself. So you can select it, size it, rotate it. And this shows you a picture of what I was just doing on the left here of the book. There's the rotation handle and the corners are where you can make it larger. Okay, so but you can't do anything with your word art unless you click on the border of it. And that's how you can start working with it. So the first thing we're gonna do is we click on the border of it, and you'll see now you get like a dotted line around it. And so we're gonna go to drawing tools because now you have a tab for it. And you're gonna go drawing tools. You wanna go to word art styles. And it looks like, oh, there it is. It's the word art styles box. And I want to go to text fill. Well, let's see. See, mine's smaller, so I can't always see what, there it is. My things are all shrunken. So we want to go to text fill, which is the first box. Does everybody see that?
Where are we talking about?
So you click on the box for your word art, okay? And then you go to drawing tools. There's 3 little A's that are in a row under word styles. And the first one, and you're gonna click on green. Now I find sometimes it only does the first word. So if that's happening to yours, you could highlight your 3 words and then try it again and go to the first little A on top there. And they want you to pick this time green accent 6, darker 25. I think that's 1 up from the one we did last time. So it's the second green on the far right, and that will color your words. I find if I don't highlight all 3, it only colors the first one, and I don't know why. I highlight all 3 and then open that first little A up on the top under word art styles. If you find you don't see that option, you got to click in the box. Did that work for everyone? Did it work? Everyone's good? Stacy, are you okay? Oh, can I walk over? I can't always tell. Oh, yeah, that works. What are the red ones? Could be thinking it's a grammar error because it doesn't say and. And if it's too big, you can always make it small. It's big because you're doing that. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're gonna do a lot more with it. It's only the beginning. It's gonna look good. Trust me. Okay. All right. So we did that. Now we're gonna go to the next button, which is called let's see. Oh, the 2 down. Sorry, text effects. And we're gonna click on the little arrow next to it, and you can see all these choices that you get. So I'm just gonna show you some of these. You can actually play. So with shadow, you get like a shadow around it, and it's kind of cool. Reflection, we'll put a reflection around the word. You see how mine now has like it's showing the word like in a reflection. Okay, I think that's kind of cool. So then when you see the word, it looks like it's reflecting. I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. Anyways, I just wanted to show you some of these because I think they're kind of cool. Glow makes the letters have like a glow behind them. Bevel is what we're going to use. They want us to do bevel and then choose cool slant, which I think is the 4th one in the first row. And this kind of makes the words look like they've been chiseled. It's called bevel. So bevel was the 4th one, the 4th bevel, and then the first row, the 4th one, cool slant. And they're just different things. Like if you click on them, it looks like the words have been kind of carved differently. And then we're going to go to the next one, which is, we're going to skip 3D rotation for now. We're going to go to the next one, which is, they kind of like warps them, ABC transform. And this is kind of cool because it makes your words like circles and up and down. And we're going to go to the section that's warp, and we're going to select chevron up, which is the 2nd row, the first one. I also have a reflection. I should probably take that off. I'll take it off. It's not really in the book. I'll say no reflection. All right.
How do you take the reflection?
I just went right to it. I went to the one I was at, reflection, and then I said no reflection.
Okay.
I mean, we could use it. It's just kind of fun. So now yours should be your words. Now, if you click on the words, they won't show that they're in any, pretty way that we just did it. But if you click out of it, you can see that it's kind of a little wavy. Chevron up is what that's called. If you don't like that as well, you like a different one, you are welcome to use any that you like. You can kind of go through here and find there's all different like levels. There's circles. So if you like making cool things, but you're not a great artist, then word art is for you. So you can see there's all different directions it goes. They want us to use chevron up, but you are welcome to use any you like. Some of them are kind of hard to read when they get into circles and stuff.
Follow path, is that just the same deal, but a different?
Yeah, follow path is like it's like it just keeps like it goes up or it goes down. Yeah, like it goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then the other one goes the other direction. They're similar to chevron. All right, so now we have that one done. Okay. So now we got chevron up. Okay. Okay, it says the position of the mouse. So they want us to click into the box. Position the mouse on the circular handle of the right side, where there's a double-sided arrow, and they want you to drag the mouse, drag it so it fills the same side, so it's even on the page. See how I could make it really teeny? They want you to take that left side and drag it over so it's kind of equal on the page. They say about 1 inch from the side, so I don't know, maybe mine's a little over too much. And you can see on the top, if you have a ruler, it tells you about 1 inch. I'm going to stop right at the 6.5. That'll give me about 1 inch. I'm just eyeballing it. And you can even move the other side if you wanted, but I'm not going to get too crazy. So then your reduce, reuse, recycle is right on the top of your page. Okay. So now we're going to do some more word art. I know, just when you thought they couldn't have more fun. Okay, so if you hit Control End, you're going to get to the end of your document. All right. Miss Megan's lame again. Messed up my document. Okay. So in this case, they want you to, we're at the end of our document. They want you to choose Insert Text Word Art. We did this before. Insert. Go to the text grouping and the little A that's on its side. Okay. They want you to use the last option in the first row, which is fill gold accent 4 soft bevel. So it's that gold A. It almost doesn't matter which one you use because we end up changing the color and everything, but they want you to type do your part exclamation point. Okay.
Mine still has the little dot next to it. The point.
So it looks like you weren't quite at the end. Let's undo for just a minute. You can see how you're right here. We want you to be at the all the way there. And at one point we had to do 3 spaces, so it doesn't matter. Now you can do it. Otherwise, it will be think it's a bullet.
How many times do you hit it?
I hit it 3 because 1 gives you another bullet, 2 turns off your bullet, and 3 gives you a space. So now you're going to do insert word art and hit the bold A. Yep, it's a little sideways A. Yeah. And in the end, we're going to change the color and everything else. They're just having you try different ones. I know. Okay. So do your part. Okay. So now we're going to click on the border, which you probably are already still in it. And you're going to go up to the color, which was the first little A up there, text fill. And they want to do green accent 6, darker 25, which I believe was the second green. Oh, but look, it only highlighted, it only did one of my words. Okay, so it's going to be in that green. I don't care which green. Then they want us to do text effects, which is the third gold one. And they want us to do cool slant again, which was under bevel. And cool slant was the 4th one. Okay, so we kind of have it looking a little bit like the first one. Then they want us to click on the box again and drag it so that it's kind of in the middle of the page. So you're just going to drag that middle box all the way over. So it's about 1 inch from the right edge of the page. That way it centers the text. And we're slowly getting our flyer together. Did that work for everybody? And if it didn't change colors or you have a problem, you can highlight it again. Click on drawing tools. The first little A was your color there. The third little A was your bevel. Doesn't have to be beveled. We haven't transformed this one, but you easily could if you wanted to. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to insert some images. They tell you about being careful about copywriting and things like that. You can also turn and rotate. You can crop or resize. So that's what we're going to do. So they want us to, I'm on page 91. It says, position your insertion point in the blank line below the flyer's heading. Okay, so to me, the flyer heading is reduce, reuse, recycle. So I'm going to click there and I should get my insertion point. If you're having trouble finding that spot, we may need to hit enter once to get a little bit of space. But it looks like I have some space there because I have my cursors right below reduce, reuse, recycle. My cursor's there. Okay, so in order to get a picture, you're going to go to insert, and then there's a screen and a little world. It says online pictures. And then I'll get a box that will come up and it's a bling search. And I'm going to type in recycle and then enter. So it'll search for me. And I'll do this a couple times. So then I get all these lovely pictures and I'm just going to click on the one I like. And it will put it right there on my page. So let me do that again. So you have to first go to where you want the picture. You're going to hit insert, online picture. Your search image will come up. You'll type what you're looking for, recycle in this case, and enter. And then I'm just going to pick the one I want with 2 clicks, and I get a picture right there. Yes, by grabbing the corner. So if your picture is like super big, you can grab the corner and make it a little smaller, and that's what we're going to work on next. So it says, now you can take the top, like if you wanted it to turn in some weird way, you could turn the picture. I don't normally turn them because I find I have a hard time getting it back. So if you turn it and it makes it all wonky, you can always do undo, but notice that you can position it there if you'd like to. So it says position the mouse on the left-hand corner handle. When the mouse pointer changes to a double-sided arrow, drag the image till it's about 4.5 inches wide. So I always do it from the corner. So I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller here. Okay. Then I really don't want this picture to be here. So I'm going to go to home, and then I'm going to go to center in the paragraph grouping. So then my picture is centered in that middle. If you're clicked on your picture. Now, if you're clicked somewhere else, it won't work. Now, another thing you can do is your picture can be like around your words, all these different things. See how there's this option, layout option to the right of your pictures? You can wrap your text with it. You could move your text. You can fix your picture in the page. There's lots of options you can do with a picture. You can also crop your picture. So say this picture, I only wanted part of it. If I click on the picture and then click on picture tools, one of the options is crop. You don't have to do this. You probably don't need to, but I'm just going to show you. I can only put part of my picture up there if I wanted to. Now I'm going to undo because I actually needed the whole picture, but cropping is just really nice. If you just wanted part of your picture, like maybe I didn't want so much space, I could hit crop and I could pull some of the white space there and pull some of the white space there. Now it's not going to make a difference because the whole page is white. But you can see if the background was a color or something, I could crop the picture like I. So the crop button's where? It's in picture tools and it's on size. The very right hand side. You have to be clicked on the picture. And then it's on the far right hand side. So we're going to go ahead and play with our picture a little bit. It says click on the picture that you have. Okay, and then click on the little layout options. And we're going to use the tag that the first one on the second area that says, let's see, with text wrapping, it says square. Now, see what happens to your picture with your words. it aligns your text with it, in line with text. Now,
So mine didn't do that.
oh, it didn't do that? Let me undo. So if you do it with text wrapping and you click on it, it'll put your text around your picture.
Oh.
Now, I don't really want that. In this case, that's not something I want. So I can click on the first picture instead, and it says in line with text, and then it'll line up my picture next to my text. Because I don't want my text to be around it, but notice you can do that if you want it, and that's something nice you can do. So I'll X that out. So we've got that. We can also crop anytime we want. And it shows you right there by clicking on the picture, you can crop, then you get your lines. It's going to show me that I already cropped some off, which it didn't really matter because it was white. But if I wanted to crop my picture, maybe I want just half of it. I click what I want to crop and I click somewhere else, and then it crops my picture. So does everybody, you don't have to crop your picture, but I just want you to know how to do it. Because you may be like, I like my picture, and that's okay. All right. Okay. And the last thing we're going to do is what I already did is I centered the picture. But if your picture was on the left or on the right, at any point in time, you could click on your picture and you could center it right there. Okay. So it says, select all 7 lines of your text, so your bullet points there, and press the tab 7 times. Now, if all 7 lines are highlighted, it's going to move them all at the same time with even bullet points. Now, that was great. Watch what happens though. Whoops. Watch what happens if I select them and I just say center. Look at my bullet points, how they're all jaggedy. And then that would make me, someone like me, that would make me crazy. Like I wouldn't be able to sleep. Like my bullets aren't aligned. I'd actually just take away the bullets. So instead of aligning that way, they have you highlight, highlight, and just hit tab 7 times. So, all right. So now we're going to do a couple more things because the chapter ends there, and I don't feel like this flyer is done. I feel like there's a few things I can do. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit enter right before this picture, and I'm going to move it down a little bit. I'm going to hit enter right after. I'm going to move it down. Okay. And then I think I'm going to put a border on this picture. So borders are really nice. If you go to design tab, on the far right, it says, and I'm going to make mine a little smaller so you can see most of my flyer. It says page border on the far right. If you click on it, you get lots of fun choices. So I can have a box for a border, and I can just say, okay, do the whole thing. And then I have just a nice box line. By just clicking on page border, I have a nice line there, and I clicked on box. It's the only thing I clicked on, box, and okay. But I can be super crazy. I could make a dotted line and say, okay, and then I have a dotted line. I could change the color. Remember, we've been green for this flyer. I could make the dotted line thicker by going to width. So color and width, and then say, okay. And then I have a nice dotted line. I think that adds a little bit to it. I can really get crazy. Underneath width is art. And I could do trees, because remember we're talking about reduce. Oh, I did ice creams. Trees. And then I have trees. So if you want to write like a family letter, oh, now I can see that, look, my recycle is not quite centered. So I may go back, or I can take my clip art and try to move that a little bit so it's not in my trees. Anyways, if I don't like if the trees are too big, I could make my trees, try to make my trees a little smaller. Let's see if I could. I'm under art, right below width. Oh, there I go. I can make my trees smaller by going with width if I wanted thinner trees. Yeah, I know. One point I wanted something else and I couldn't find it. It is a little bit limiting, but You can do hearts. So it's kind of fun. Now, another thing you can do, I kind of like the trees, is you can also do page color. Page color is really nice. I definitely wouldn't print it. You know, I could do blue. Oh, this is blue's kind of nice. Let's just click on page color. You just pick a color. And you could see what the colors look like before you do it. But I definitely wouldn't print it. If I was doing this, I would get blue paper because it would cost me a ton of ink to do it this way. But it's just kind of good to know. So another thing you can do, I'm going to undo the page color for a minute, is you could do a watermark. What do I mean by that? Well, watermark is like when it says confidential or, you know, something like that, but you can actually do your own custom watermark, which is kind of cool. So I can say that I want a text watermark and I want it to say my name, Megan. And I just typed in text. I'll show you this a couple times and I can say, okay. Now on the back of the document, like just printed in really light letters, is my name. Now it's harder to see because I have a picture. If I deleted the picture, you could see it a little bit better, but that's a watermark.
How do you do your own watermark again?
I'll show you. So you go to watermark. I went to custom. And then in the text, I typed what I wanted, text watermark. Now, you can also do a picture watermark. I'm in the same box. I say picture watermark and I say select picture. And remember how we had to look for a picture before? I'm going to say money. Yep. I'm just searching for a picture. I'm going to pick dollar bills and say, okay, I can do this a couple times. And then you're going to see, I'm going to get rid of my picture for just a minute. In the back of my picture is faint dollars. So this isn't something you're going to use all the time. You're going to be like, I need a watermark, but just watermark, custom, and then you could choose either a picture or a text. So it's kind of cool. You know, I don't know. I just like to show you because I think it's a neat thing. And then at any point in time, you could say remove watermark and it'll just disappear. So I think these are some features that a lot of people don't know about, but I think they're kind of cool. So I use the page color once in a while when I'm like sending it to someone, you know. Again, I would never print this, or I would print it on orange paper. So that's our flyer. And if at any point you're like, oh, wait a minute, I need some more space, you could play around with it. You know, you can add some more spaces. You can do your part bigger if you wanted to, you know, change the font. You could keep messing with it, but I don't know if I like the trees. I could change my border. Design, page border. Maybe I'll just change it back to a line and I'll make it green. There we go. It's just a little bit simpler. Anyway, so that's how to make a simple flyer. And that is.
So you want to, how did you just take all that out to go back to the original?
I just did page border and then I just clicked on one of the lines. So it took away my trees. See, if I was on cherries, if I just clicked on the lines and then clicked on the color I want, and then you say, okay.
Okay, so you just change it to whatever you want.
And you're not stuck with anything. So then we have to save this. So again, file, save as, browse. Then you have to figure out where you want it. Mine was MS Office Saturday, double click. Now it's called separate your trash. I could call it that. That's the first line, or I could call it flyer or whatever. And then I will just say save. Where do you want to put it? What do you want to call it? And now my document is saved. Now, there's two assessments because we did two different chapters. There are some great flyers that you make in here. They have you make a bicycle flyer, which I think is great. I have put in the class site, let me go out of here for a minute. Let me make this smaller so you can see the whole site a little bit bigger. In week 4, I have all the homework things you need. So there's a kind of a flyer there that you're going to jazz up. And I believe they just tell you to search for bicycles. So you can, because you're going to take this flyer here and you're going to actually make it nicer. You're going to add a picture or two. You can add a border. So it's not too hard to do. And remember, if you take it from the class site, you just open it, say open a new window. If you can't find it, you go to File Explorer, and then you would look under downloads. You can see there was my professional polish. But if I did this one, download. Now on these computers, it comes on the left of my screen, but at home, yours may not automatically do that. So it would just be under your downloads. And there it is for me. Carbon footprint is what that one is called. So that was under downloads. This is on the class site. Yeah, so in column 4, I have the homework. Anything you need to do the homework is on here. And then you would just click on it, open a new window or download. Either one does the same thing. But if you can't find it, you would just open your File Explorer and go to downloads, and it would be right there. Sometimes people tell me, I downloaded it, it's not here. I've done it 10 times. I'm like, it's there. You're just gonna download. Yep. And on these computers, it's on the left-hand side of your screen, but sometimes people can't find it. Okay. So that's why I try to go over how to find it in File Explorer. So I definitely recommend going through and doing the homework assignments. The homework assignments in chapter 3 aren't too hard. They're just editing. So if you feel like you did really great with chapter 3, I would say then don't worry about it. It's copying and pasting, inserting, highlighting. I definitely recommend doing the homework for chapter 4 because it's making a couple more flyers, or at least one more flyer. I think that's always good to do. Next week, we're going to start fresh on Excel, and we'll do just chapter 5. Excel is a lot to do. And so next week, we're just going to work on chapter 5 of Excel. All right, I'm going to stop recording. Oops. All right, so this has been week 2, chapters 3 and 4 in the book.